Billionaire Bill Gates is giving away all of his money. Well, sort of. Microsoft co-founder Gates announced that he intends to give away 99% of his fortune over the next 20 years and close his nonprofit, the Gates Foundation, by the end of 2045. Gates wrote in a blog post Thursday, "People will say a lot of things about me when I die, but I am determined that he died rich will not be one of them. There are too many urgent problems to solve for me to hold on to resources that could be used to help people."
Gates also took shots at Elon Musk, saying Doge is killing children through U.S. aid cuts. He told Financial Times, quote, "The picture of the world's richest man killing the world's poorest children is not a pretty one." Gates also cited the grants that Musk canceled in Gaza and Mozambique. "I'd love for him to go in and meet the children that have now been infected with HIV because he cut that money."
All right, so Bill Gates giving away most of his fortune. I mean, that's fine. He's welcome to do that.
His money.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't hold any grudge towards people who choose to pass that on to their kids or have a charitable foundation that they keep open for their family members. But there's obviously a lot of reactions to this in regards to his comments on Doge, seemingly inspired by Doge to give up this money to private charity sources so that he can combat some of the government cuts. What are your thoughts on his comments there?
Well, look, the reality is that, since the Trump administration has come into office, right, since January, we have seen U.S. aid completely almost dwindle down to nothing, from 10,000 people to eventually will be 15 positions in this role. And what this means is a lot of what Bill Gates is saying is that some of the most vulnerable, malnourished children, mothers, we're talking about HIV treatment, we're talking about polio dollars, we're talking about resources for water resources around the world. So many people, millions, are impacted by this move. And so I think he's trying to give a reality check to Doge and the Elon Musk camp that, hey, have you looked in the face of a child who will now not survive because they don't have the proper treatment? So I think that he's trying to say, I've seen what this will impact, and you all are just kind of cutting numbers and cutting people and programs. Look, 83% of the programs for U.S. aid are now going to be cut. And the detrimental impact is what I think Bill Gates is trying to tell him you need to be aware of. Or do you even care?
Where Americans get frustrated, though, is that the federal budget has been skyrocketing year after year after year. Obviously, the federal debt has been increasing as well. And yet they walk down their city block and they see homeless people everywhere. They see homeless veterans suicides at an all-time high, and they say, we need to get our priorities in check, right? America would love to help the world, but maybe we need to have a priority on helping people at home, making sure that working class people are not overly burdened by tax increases. And so there is an appetite for cutting the government. I mean, 70-something% of people, according to the latest poll, do agree with cutting government bureaucracy, cutting government spending. So then the question gets into how do you actually do that and what is the right way? And I think a lot of people feel like they're willing to give Doge some latitude in how they institute these cuts.
Yeah,
sure.
And some, they've just, let's be fair, they've come in and put out emails, we're abolishing your department, So yeah, okay, there's problems here at home too. But the reality is that America, you cannot compare the poverty somebody feels here, and I'm sorry, to what you would feel in Africa. You have access here. You can walk into a homeless shelter if you are homeless here. Maybe people don't choose to, right? But there is an incredible amount of access here. So the comparison to me is also lost on a lot of people of the amount of suffering someone is going through.
Yeah, but I think that's probably little comfort to the person who's camped out on a street corner, right? I mean, and you can go into a homeless shelter, but what do you really get? Do you get long-term access to housing? Do you get mental health treatment? Do you get drug addiction treatment? A lot of that does come from private charitable sources, which is great. I'm in no way knocking private charity.
Churches, missionaries.
Yeah, I mean, the Catholic Church in particular is the largest charitable organization in the world. They help a lot of these international issues as well that you're referencing. But when people see their tax dollars going out the door every year, 30%, 40%, sometimes even higher, and they still see the issue of poverty in the United States, they say, well, that's my fellow countrymen. Right. I want to assist them first.
Totally. And I would go to then there's also systemic things that need to be changed too in how we address it. The other thing that I'll say is that, again, I'm not I'm not saying necessarily that every single U.S. aid program and every single U.S. aid position needed to be there, but to dwindle it down this fast. Congress has not even approved the reorganization. To do things at this speed, why? Why does it have to be done this fast? So, okay, some people disagree with the amount of people that are cut. Okay, why can't we do it through the right chain of command? Why the speed?
Well, I think one of the problems is that we have had this recurring bureaucratic bloat for so many years. The Republicans are probably not going to keep the House in the midterms. Right now, they have a mandate to do these cuts, and they're on a timeline of about 18 months. So I think that's the reason for the rapidity of which this is happening.
And I'll add this before we wrap up on this topic. You know, the government is not the same as running a business, and that's how Elon Musk is treating it, like one of his businesses. There are programs that don't necessarily bring in money, and that's part of what we're challenged to do in the government. So just wanted to point that out.
That's going to do it for us today on Rising. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we are now available anywhere you listen to podcasts.